the $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast. All right, welcome to the podcast. We've got Masud Sarwary. He's an entrepreneur, an investor, philanthropist, as well as founder and CEO of Foundation Escrow. This San Diego-based company works with real estate agents, loan officers to close transactions with top-notch service every time. Welcome to the show, bud.
Jon, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Good to see you again.
I know, you too, man. It's so good. So I know you. I've known you for a while. We've been in, like a philanthropy group together.
Right.
But tell me your story. Like, how'd you get in this business and get where you're at today?
Yeah, well, I don't know how far you want me to go back, but originally I was born in Afghanistan, and luckily we made it out of Afghanistan and came to the States. And
do you remember much of that? Was that intense? Or?
It was intense. Like I think when we were trying to escape, we were on a bus and on goats at night, and then when we got stopped, and then they pulled out my father, and then they were putting a gun in his head, and luckily he talked to them or negotiated with them, and we got back on the bus and then immigrated to Pakistan.
Wow.
But it was intense. I don't remember all of it, but that's what my mom was telling me. And then luckily we got sponsored. My aunt lived in Nebraska, and we moved to Nebraska from all places. So
Jeez.
I was an Omaha kid for a little while. I think one of the brownest kids there.
Yeah, I bet.
But then we moved to New York, and then finally came to San Diego. One of our family's members or friends lived in San Diego, told us about San Diego. So, man, I grew up in San Diego, so super
Nice.
blessed, grateful to be here. Went to college, UCSD. And then I was, like all Middle Eastern kids, wanted to go pre-med, but middle of my school year, I said, this is not right for me. I like business, so changed to econ.
Too many books.
Too many books, too many years of education.
Right.
And I just wanted to get out and just start working. So during UCSD, there was a career fair, and I ran into a company called Accredited Home Lenders.
I remember them,
Yeah, you remember them. So I got into the business through Accredited Home Lenders. They had a management trainee program that they just launched. And I said, yeah, you know what? I want to do this. I had family up in the Bay Area. They had their own mortgage broker shops, and they were doing it. I had a degree, so I didn't want to just go be a loan officer or open up a shop yet. So I said, I want to get some corporate world. I thought that's the best direction to go.
Sure, yeah.
So I did that for like 2 years, went through a full intensive mortgage banking experience, from like appraisals, underwriting, secondary, processing, you name it, just learned the ins and outs, and just really got structure on how the mortgage process and wholesale works. And then I was a wholesale AE for about a year.
At Accredited?
At Accredited,
Cool.
yeah. I did that for a year, and then was working in San Diego County, and I had started building clients, mortgage brokers, and loan officers, and I started seeing the kind of money that brokers were making and loan officers.
Yeah.
And as an AE, I said, I like being an AE, but I can do this. So after 2 years, I'm grateful for the structure and learning. I got out of Accredited, but then I opened up my own mortgage shop in 2004. My cousin, perfect timing, right?
Yeah,
2004, maybe. My cousin AJ Akbar, he's the one that got me into the retail side and opening up a brokerage shop. He had multiple shops up in the Bay Area, and he helped us open up San Diego. So I got in 2004, and really good timing. Just blew it out of the water. I had a lot of friends, family.
Yep.
As you know, I got a ton of family in San Diego, so we all started working together. Opened up, I think we had like 6 offices, 100 LOs, and we were doing a ton of volume.
Yep.
We ran it and became like a 8-figure business rapidly. And I think I was like 25, 26 when I started, so super young.
You're on top of the world, man.
Top of the world, yeah. And it was a great time, obviously. And then 2008 hit.
Yep.
But luckily, throughout that time, we were smart. Obviously, saving money, getting into the business. And
25, that's a hard thing to do. It's like you're making money. I'm only 25. I'm going to buy a Ferrari and stuff.
Exactly.
But instead, you're buying property or sticking some money away, making some good investments. That was smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Continue to do that. And then vertically integrated, we said, well, we got into the mortgage business. This makes sense. What other business can we get into? So then that's how got into Foundation Escrow 2007, connected with the escrow companies. We said, we're doing 100+ loans a month. Why don't we do the escrows ourselves?
Right.
So 2007 found Foundation Escrow and had the opportunity to acquire it. So acquired it, and it was a great business. 2007, pretty much doing all of our loans for a year or so. And then found out really quickly that this business can stand on its own, that we should get out there and offer the escrow services to other mortgage brokers, to real estate agents. So then really rapidly started growing that. So luckily we got into that escrow business, because the mortgage business, as you know, it's up and down.
For sure.
And then 2016, purchased a nationwide notary service, Notary Near You, to just handle all of our escrows, and had its own escrow client. So just the whole vertical integration was kind of helped us or helped me to continue to stay in business, because 2008 was wild.
Yeah, it was totally wild.
Yeah. We actually had to do some loan modifications and some short sales just to change the business model to continue to just thrive and survive.
Yeah, I had someone tell me the other day, a mortgage broker, he said, man, this almost feels worse than 2008. And I was like, maybe for you, like his business was just like dead, right? He had no business. And like for me, 2008 was so depressing, when it wasn't really 2008, it was because I had another business that thrived in 08. But like end of 07 was just such a bummer. It was like the fall of 07 when everything was going down. And like, I remember having loans that just, I think I submitted like 5 loans and they're like, nope, dead. And I was like, what am I going to do?
Right.
Like there's no business. Everyone's upside down. Like people can't even sell their house. Like, then the short sale business came and walking away from house, all that stuff came up. But I'm like thinking like now, it is slow, but like there's business out there. There's liquidity. People are, people are buying loans. People are offering products. It's just that everyone has this low rate first. So the refis are gone, right? But there's a lot of equity. There's tons of people that want to tap into that equity and keep cash, right? Like, so I don't know. I don't think it's like 08. I think that of course the 08 thing was wild. Like you said, it was just it was a crazy time. And I think back at it and I'm like, I remember the pain of that time versus this, and this is stressful, but it's not, it's not like that. I'm sure with your escrow company, are you seeing transactions? Like you guys getting like purchase transactions now? Is it picking it up?
Yeah. Refinances have slowed down, obviously. That we're not doing, we used to do, I don't know, hundreds of refinances a month. Now that's like 10 to 20 transactions a month. So that, as you said, refi is not there. But we've always been a real estate purchase type of escrow company focused on real estate agents. It was down fourth quarter.
Yep.
But second half of January, we started seeing the pickup. Part of it, the interest rate dropping, the buyers understanding, hey, this is the kind of market that we're in, the new normal. So our order count started going up mid of January and February, and our market share is going up too. So our focus is just market share.
Right.
Getting it to 7% is our focus in San Diego County this year, and continue to rise there. But we're seeing more orders definitely the past 6 weeks.
That's cool. And then your notary business, so is it nationwide now?
Correct.
Okay. And the notary business, have you seen, like, I'm so curious about this.
Yeah.
Can you do notaries now on like FaceTime and stuff in some states?
Yeah, in some states they have the RON, the remote online notarization. It's happening a lot in certain states, especially in the East Coast states.
Yep.
Midwest starting to adopt it too. It's just California, we're the last to do anything, but it's happening. And I'm in title escrow mastermind groups. They're all doing these RON.
Is Florida?
Florida's doing it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Florida's doing it. Yeah. Already.
We got a lot of business in Florida, so I think that would be good to know, right?
Like,
like you can do it. Yeah. So, like, would you say right now it's like 20% of America is doing it, or like?
I'd say it's probably getting close to like 50%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's actually improving, and the technology that's there, it's just being able to actually, if the state allows it, it's so much easier to do.
Right.
Just everything's online, signatures online. It's through a technology platform that they have.
Great. I mean, you could be, because we always said, I remember so many times, like, my borrower's leaving for Mexico. They're
Yeah.
going to be in Cabo. They got to sign, and there's all this pressure. And they're like, now it's like, oh, they could do it from, their beach chair in Cabo, right? While they're drinking a margarita.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great.
It needs to happen. I can't wait till California adopts it.
Yeah, that'll be a huge tipping point, I think, for
Exactly.
that business. And so Foundation Escrow, are you guys mainly in San Diego? Is that the deal?
Yeah, we're a regional escrow company. We do transactions throughout California, but our core focus is San Diego County, Riverside County. That's the majority of our what we're doing. We're growing out to Riverside. I mentioned a little bit more too. So continue to open up office and gaining more market share in Southern California.
That's cool. And what's your differential, what's your advantage, I'd say, like for using Foundation versus like a Fidelity or something like that?
Sure. Well, we just lead with contribution. So we have our escrow sales reps, our marketing team, our sales and marketing team. We're just focused on how can we bring value, add value, contribute to our agents, to really looking at them as a partner in business, not just someone that sends us business, but how do we really look at the agent and help them grow their business, and have the agent look at their business as a business, not just a real estate company, and helping agents to understand and have that mindset of learning, education, knowledge to really grow their real estate business and treating it like a business and just not an operator.
That's cool. Do you guys have any issues right now? Like, I know, like with the business kind of slowed down. Have you seen, that, like, because what we're seeing is a lot more of the bottom drawer files, right? Like a file that a loan officer would never look at, and so there's issues on it. And you guys seeing stuff like that too?
The transactions are much harder.
Yeah.
We just had a manager call last week, and they were saying, we're doing these deals, but it's taking longer to do them.
Yeah.
It's a lot more challenging, more difficult. And I think it's just because of the type of market we're in. The financing is just not as easy.
Sure.
The type of transactions have some little hair on it. But the majority of the deals that we're still doing is just the traditional transactions with financing, cash as well too. But I wouldn't say a lot of it is like the ones that we're just like sitting under the drawer. I think we're doing a bunch of the traditional,
regular stuff. Yeah,
the regular
that's
stuff,
good.
but it's just taking longer.
Right, for sure. Escrow is one of those things that fraud has kind of popped up with, right? Like wire fraud and all that. Do you have any stories about like something happening?
It's because
that's a scary thing, right?
Oh man, that's
you
what
lose...
keeps me up at night.
Right.
More than anything else is just that, and we take it so seriously. So we have our SOC certification, and we just continue to stay up to date with wire fraud and security to make sure that one of our customers, consumers, the buyer, mainly the buyers, don't get defrauded, because it's $1 billion industry.
Oh yeah,
and it's growing. I think it's like maybe 17 billion, but every year there's more and more of it, and they're getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
So we have to stay on top of it. So one thing we do as a company is that we never wire our wire instructions, because that's where the issues come up. Someone sends a wire email and tells you, send it over here, and they spoof an escrow officer or escrow company. So what we do is, in the beginning with the buyer and consumer, and educate them, send them a video understanding how predominant wire fraud is, give them the instructions of, hey, if you see this, it's a red flag. So education, conversations, letting them know, not emailing wire instructions. But I've heard it's happened to escrow companies.
So how do you do it? Do you send a text message with the wire instructions, or do
It's
you?
all verbal.
Oh, verbal. So you call. And,
Yeah, we call and give it to them all verbally. Then we're looking at some technology to have some secure platform to provide the wire instructions. We actually have a new technology coming to play called Foundation Connect. It's a portal, and buyers and sellers and agents will be able to go on there, see the status of their files, have access to their documents. So that's a secure platform that will be sending or providing wire instructions. But until that's live, it's all verbal right now.
That's good.
But as far as stories, man, from what I've heard, I think there's one escrow company on the news where it was like the buyer somehow was, I think it was someone had spoofed the escrow officer and sent an email to the buyers about sending a wire to somewhere else and changing the instruction. I think it was $500,000 or something. So the buyer, not knowingly, just sent it because I think the escrow company was providing wire instructions, and maybe the education wasn't there, but they sent it, and then that money was gone. Their total life savings.
Can't get it back.
Can't get it back.
Wow. That's wild.
And for us, we've had a situation.
Near misses.
Yeah, here or there, but our policy and procedures saved us and saved the buyers. Jeez. Really. And it's us continue to educate them, even though we tell buyers, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
They'll do it, but then we have our policies and procedures to catch it, and then we call them right away, because this is a matter of seconds. If you don't catch it, you got to call your bank, call the other bank to make sure that they resend the wire. If you don't do that, that money's bye-bye.
Wow. Yeah. Can you imagine just, honey, I sent the wire to the wrong place and our life savings is gone.
Oh, man.
That's probably divorce right there.
Oh, that's brutal, man. So I don't know.
I'm laughing, but that's not a laughing matter. That's sad. Oh, I can't imagine, dude. I can't imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anytime I send a wire myself, I'm like calling people and say, "Hey, is this you? Is this the right stuff?" Because I don't want to be screwed.
No, man. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody does. So what technologies are coming into escrow? Like what's the new, like, since I've been in wholesale, I don't deal as much with escrow, but I'm sure like you guys have done some cool new technology updates, right? Like what's new?
Yeah, we have a lot of new technology coming to play this on April 1st. So it's not April Fool's. We're actually bringing it on April 1st. It's funny that you asked that. We've been paperless the whole time, obviously, and we use DocuSign and all that good stuff. But we're bringing that new portal called Foundation Connect, which is the tracker, tracking the file status of where your file is. Kind of like a track, like when you're tracking pizza or something, knowing when it's going to get delivered. Yeah, the
little ticker, a little like line that says you're here. And
you're here, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we'll have that files where the buyers, sellers, agents can access their documents, notifications, and just it's more like on-demand communication knowing anytime what's going on with your file. So we have that. The other thing is we're adding AI, a virtual assistant called Ollie. Cool. So we named it after my late son, Ollie, just to be able to have communication. So at any point in time you want to text Ollie, it'll provide you any information about your escrow file, what's going on. So for agents, for the buyers, sellers, just on-demand communication and having an extra assistant.
It's a text message.
It's all
so you can say
text-based.
like, what is this, fee simple, or what is this, whatever. You can ask a question.
Yeah, you can ask a question like, how much is my earnest money deposit I need to provide? How much when am I signing loan docs? And it'll just provide you all this information.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's a prepaid fee?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a cool technology. I mean, I think people like to have some, even if it's like midnight and they're stressing out, and then they can send a quick text and it answers them right then, right?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And a lot of millennials, right? So we have so many millennial buyers now. They want that on-demand communications, like that Amazon experience.
Definitely.
So those are the two main technology we're bringing in, and continue to find other ways to improve and make it an experience, and just not customer service, but a customer escrow experience.
That's cool. So you've been in the mortgage business, the escrow business, notary business. You're still in investing, probably private money a little bit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you were starting out today, or if you were a mortgage broker today, what would you do to get business? Because I know you think outside the box, and people are looking for business. I mean, the whole pie has shrunk, right? It's like gone from like this massive amounts of transactions to these smaller. I mean, I think to kind of lead it off is you just have to work harder now. You can't it's not just going to fall in your lap. But like, what would you do differently than?
Yeah, I think it's so important, relationships.
Yeah.
I think this is a relationship business, and more than anything is you might not get a transaction today, but creating relationships, not only with agents, with all the different financial providers, whoever has access and can direct a loan transaction.
Sure.
I think it's just getting out there and building your personal brand. I think that's the biggest thing, is get your personal brand. So everybody's on social media looking at you and being able to do business. And if you have a great personal brand, people are going to come to you. So I think if you create a great personal brand and have the right hooks, the right messaging, the right education, people will come to you. So relationships and building a great personal brand.
What's some steps they can take to build a brand?
I think first is just building your community. I think focusing on your community and continuing to build that and building your relationships. And then having content that's obviously education, knowledge. There's this guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, Neil Dingra, Neil Home. He does a bunch of, he's got actually someone I follow, and he has an event called Forward Movement. So he just talks about like creating hooks and information about like the result first, and then getting people to creating these reels. That's cool. So just information like, hey, have you heard, a specific question is, this is costing, or have you, I can't remember exactly all the different hooks he had, but just creating a hook and then having the result and then getting attention span that way.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, it's all about, I think, awareness, right? And letting people know what you're doing. Because if like, you know what you're doing, but if they don't know what you're doing, it's kind of like that. I heard a quote one time, someone said like, if you're not marketing, it's like winking at a girl in the dark.
Right.
You know what you're doing, but she doesn't know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, if we're just like sitting here, and just like marketing and are doing our own thing, but like wondering why no one's responding, it's because you're not putting it out there. You're not, you're not like bringing that awareness to what you're doing.
I couldn't agree more. And I think if you want more business, just talk to more people.
Right.
It's that simple.
Right. Like you have to put more lines in the water, right? Yeah. If your fishing is not biting, you go somewhere else, put more lines in the water.
Yeah. It's simple stuff. Like,
but that's like goes back to working harder too.
Yeah,
because you got to put down more. And at the end of the day, it was so easy, I think, the last couple of years to get business, that it's like, it's kind of like, oh God, do I really have to do this again? Yeah, I gotta put my working boots back on. Right. I gotta hustle, and it's like, you got to get that energy up, right? Yep. And maybe motivated. Like I think, people out there sometimes are just not motivated,
right?
To have to do that work, and I think our culture's shifted a little bit in the last couple of years to like, get kind of soft, where the strong are going to survive, right? Yeah. But not the ones that are just like waiting for something to happen. It's like not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Your energy is so important, and I think that's where, if you have the right energy, the right mindset, and hard work, that's all you really need.
Right. Is there any other ways to find business? Like, can a broker get a referral from an escrow officer or like an escrow company? Like, is that, I know you have your own mortgage company, but like, how would a broker go about getting referrals from escrow people? Or notaries? Maybe. A deal blew up.
Right.
And they like walked away from the table, right? Like you get a referral from a notary, right?
Yeah, I think, and you got to be careful with the notary too. Obviously, the notaries don't want to step on toes. Like there's a transaction that another loan officer is doing, or another someone else. So, and then notaries want to make sure that they don't step on someone's toes. So that might be a little tricky.
Sure.
On the escrow side, again, if there's not a lender involved, it's you want to obviously not. It's just fiduciary, making sure you don't take it away from someone else. But if there's no lender involved, or if there's a transaction, a cash transaction or something where they need financing,
Right.
then I think that's where a loan officer can come in and ask escrow, hey, if there's any transactions that need financing, they don't have a lender, or they need obviously more creative financing that I know FundLoans offers, that's where they can come in. And I think just educating them that, and again, escrow doesn't direct that. Escrow can then connect them to the agent,
Right.
if there's an agent involved, most likely, and then talking through that.
That's good. So yeah, there was a lot of cash transactions in the past, right? Like those were the ones that won and got the offers. Like if you're looking at 10 offers and you're like, okay, this one's cash, this one's a VA loan with 0 down. You're like, I'd take the cash offer, right? Are you seeing still cash offers today?
We're seeing it, but
is that reduced a lot?
It has reduced, and I don't know the specific percentage, but we're not seeing as much as we did. Like
you would think that there would be more, because like the rates are so high. Then it's when the rates were super low, you'd be like, well, I'm gonna borrow. Yeah. But I guess people would do delayed financing. A lot of the cash buyers were doing delayed financing. I think, right? They would use their margin loan on their Schwab account or whatever, and then they would do that quick, and then they'd go refinance. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also the investor business is not there as much. It has dried up. So there's a lot more cash because there's a lot more investors. So investors have been pulling out.
Like corporations buying up, right? Yeah. Like the Zillows and the other companies like that would buy your house cash, stuff like that.
Yeah, and
we don't see those signs anymore. We'll buy your house cash today in 8 days. You remember those little yellow signs everywhere? Yeah, I don't see those anymore.
No, I don't. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, I wonder what's driving that. Like, I think what do you think is going to happen? Over the next year. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but like, do you have any insight to like what you think how this year is going to play out?
Yeah, I think the rates will still stay kind of where it's at, and relatively. I think rates will be higher longer term. I think people thought maybe rates will come down later this year. I don't think so. I think we're probably going to continue with the higher inflation period for a little longer with high rates.
Yep.
So with that said, I think it's just as long as supply, and I'm just speaking of San Diego County, obviously real estate and mortgage business is so regionalized. But at least in San Diego County, if supply continues to stay low, we'll have transaction volume. If that picks up for whatever reason, then I think we'll see a slowdown. Because for us, we just care about transactions.
Sure.
Continuing to close transactions. It will be a purchase market for the time being.
Yep.
I don't know when a refi opportunity will come up. I don't think so this year, possibly 24 or 25. But eventually, these higher rate loans will have to go down, and then there'll be some type of refi opportunity coming up. But I think it's a lot of purchases. It'll stay that way, and rates will stay higher. Traditional transactions. I don't see a lot of REO or short sales. We're starting to see some short sales, but not a ton because there's so much equity.
Right.
At least so at this moment in San Diego County. So I think that's kind of what we'll see in the next year or 2 years.
Yeah.
So our focus is just continue to gain more market share.
That's good. Yeah. Are you seeing any seconds?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll have to come at some point, but we're not seeing
there's
it.
There's a lot of equity out there.
I know.
And so we have a second.
Yeah.
A bank statement second for self-employed. And that's about half of our business.
Really?
Yeah. And so, I mean, people are able to keep their low rate first, do a cash out second. Later on, they can consolidate them, right? And so they're able to tap into that equity and keep that first as the rates are high. So,
what are your rates on the second?
They're in the 10s.
In the 10s?
Yeah,
okay.
But I mean, they're a 30-year fix and they're interest only. So, it's better than a credit card, right?
Yeah.
Better than like if you maxed out your credit cards, it's like consolidate them. If you wanted to do like a new pool or something, people want to do that or cash out for their business, recapitalize, stuff like that. So we're doing a lot of those, and they're from 150,000 minimum loan amount up to $1 million.
Oh wow!
So we do pretty big size.
I think more loan officers need to know about that because at least the loan officers are sending us escrows. they don't know that. They need to know more about what FundLoans offers.
Yeah.
That's I think that's probably one of the only refi opportunities out there.
Yeah. So I think it's the only way people really access that cash without giving up their low rate first.
Exactly.
I would be like, if I was sitting there going, God, my wife really wants a new kitchen and my kids want a pool and I have, and I have some maxed out cards and my business needs about $100 grand. And you're like kind of sitting there, but you're like, I've got a 3% first, but I've got like $1 million in equity in my home or 500,000 equity in my home. What am I going to do? Like, you're like, the only way I can accomplish this is give up my 3% first.
Yeah. That doesn't make
sucks.
sense. Yeah.
So this is a chance that a mortgage broker could be a hero and be like, look, you don't have to give up that first.
Right.
Here's a little cash out for your second to get you by, to get all your dreams accomplished. And then down the road, we'll consolidate them. So that's what we're trying to pitch.
No, that makes total sense. And what are the mortgage brokers making on that? A point on
2
it?
points. 2.5 even up to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, you do a $300,000 loan, you make, what, $7,000?
That's great.
It's great.
Yeah, and it's much better than having to get a HELOC, right?
Yeah, because brokers can't make money on HELOCs.
Yeah, you can't make money on that.
And
is it good for the consumer, though, to get a HELOC compared to a second?
I think if you can get a HELOC at a bank, you're going to be better off.
Better off, yeah.
Because then you can only you use it as you go and you're at prime or whatever, your rate's lower. But the problem is a lot of self-employed people, they can't qualify for a HELOC because their income's what it is, and it's, they write off so many things.
Right.
And it's just
that's true.
Maybe they had a down year, but we use 12 months bank statements. So we just go off
that's simple.
Yeah.
And the loan amount's not as high on with the HELOC either. You're kind of capped at.
Yeah, I mean, I think HELOCs, depending on the bank, go up to a couple $100,000.
Couple $100,000, yeah. You can't go to $1 million.
Right.
That's great. Yeah, well, at least I need to tell our loan officers about this product.
Yeah, then we can get all the escrows back to Foundation, right?
Exactly.
That's great. So talk about investing. I know you do that also.
Sure.
Are you investing in like rental properties, Airbnbs, anything like that, or like fourplexes?
Yeah. We actually bought our office building just about a little while ago for our corporate office. So that was a great investment.
Nice.
SBA loan, 10% down. 25-year term. That's under
great.
3%. So it's like a no-brainer having your own property, and half of it I use, and then the other half we have tenants. So it pays for itself.
That's great.
Continue to buy multifamily. So have some doors out here in San Diego. I do that mainly for cash flow and also
tax reasons,
the cost segregation and depreciation. That's all in San Diego. And if I invest outside, then I'll do some limited partner deals and syndicators and other people that have deals in Dallas and other states that I'm interested in. So done that for multifamilies, and these are like larger projects, 1,000 units, things like that. They give you a good tax write-off and good decent cash flow and certain amount of years of hold. And then I still like private equity deals too. So doing some angel investing and some funds and
Viore.
Yeah, if Viore's available, I'd love to. I think it might be too late.
That was a good one. I wish I got on that one.
Were you in that one?
I wish I got on that one. No.
So yeah, just things like that, and then obviously the stock market and bond market, but that hasn't been doing much. But I just like to diversify myself and just have different things, so just fully diversified because I don't know which one asset's going to do well.
Sure.
And just continue to build the cash flow.
Right, not just spending all your money.
Yeah.
Just like invest it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're basically investing back in your future,
Exactly.
and your family, and all that.
I love investing. It's my passion, and just continue to learn and grow from that.
That's cool. What's like an easy way for someone to kind of get into it? Like, just is there books that you've read, or is it just more like friends that you've met? And
yeah. I think one of the greatest books I've read, or two books, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Love that book.
And then the Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Just those two books are just like tell you just the foundation of like investing and saving money and what to do with it. Because you could do a lot of different things with that, but I think that's great. And then just having your philosophy on investing. A buddy of mine, his name's Dan Fleischman, he talks about a 40-40-20 rule. So he invests 40% in safe investments, that gives them like 5 to 9% return, 40% in medium risk. So that's real estate, stocks, cash flow businesses, and then another 20% in like Bitcoin.
You never know, right? You never know.
I have a little of it, so I wanted to be in it, but it is what it is.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And it's a new technology. So, I mean, I say new, I mean, it came out in what, 08 or something like that. But like, you know, some people totally hate it. Some people are like, it's the future. And they're going to be $1 million, you know, each coin.
Yeah. Well, putting all your eggs in one basket, it just doesn't make sense. So I think those are reading the books, getting into mastermind groups, and just investor meetup groups just to learn. But I think the best in any type of investment's real estate. You just can't go wrong with that for long-term hold.
Sure, right.
If you're looking for quick cash, I think just it's hard to invest for quick. I think it's just always having that long-term investment horizon and being a contrarian. And I think that really will help just do what the masses do opposite. It's more of emotional, but trying to control your emotions.
Right, for sure. So we were in a philanthropy group together, I know, and that was so rewarding. Like that was just a great time. I look back at it, and I know that there's an alumni opportunity. But talk to us about kind of what kind of philanthropy you're into right now, and like what you're doing. I know that's, like I said, it's like when you have good years and you make a lot of money and you can invest and do all these things. There's also, obviously there's a tax benefit for philanthropy, but there's just something about when you see an impact, right? Like it really changes your view. I mean, this life isn't just about what we can, how we can enrich ourselves, but it's like, how can we give back? And so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, when you're gone and you're not here any longer, you're not taking money with you or anything. It's all about the relationships, impacts, how you've changed lives and people. So I'm huge on philanthropy. Obviously, being an immigrant coming to the U.S., we had help from the government and helping us going, and then other people have helped me and my family. So I said, if I ever make it and I do well, I want to make sure I give back. And that's why I joined Peers with you, which was great, a great camaraderie, great relationships there. And we would help different nonprofit organizations in San Diego, mainly focused on children. And I know your father was really close with characters, helping children in
foster
care. That's right, foster children. In all different types of areas. So, and we put on a gala and help a lot of raise funds. So Peers is rewarding, and I'm still in that. Just a good group to be in and make a larger impact. So we help local nonprofit charities in San Diego. But myself and my family and my company, that what we're passionate about is Rady Children's Hospital. So we have a foundation called Ollie's Foundation that we created back in 2018, and it's continue to fundraise and give back to Rady Children's Hospital. Peers was a big help to get it off the ground and going, because Rady's was one of the beneficiaries we had at one of the galas. But the story behind that and why we did it is because we had a premature baby that was born 7 months. And he didn't make it. He was with us for 11 days, but he was here for a moment, but left a lifetime of love. And we wanted to continue to see as a family how we can continue to give back to other babies and families going through the most difficult time in the NICU. We just had the experience we had from nurses that impacted our lives. And we just wanted to continue to fundraise. So we put on a gala every year through our escrow company to fundraise. We have called a casino night every year, and fundraising. We do other fundraising activities with Rady Children's Hospital. And our goal is to give back $1 million by 2030.
That's cool.
We're at $350,000 as of 2018. So we're working our way towards that goal to help give back through all the activities that we do and the relationships that we have. And it's helping and making an impact and keeping our son Ollie's name alive. And
Yeah.
we have a little, the room that he was born in, we got his name.
Like a nameplate.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's
nameplate
cool.
on there, just
Man.
to keep it going, man. That's what really me and my family are passionate about.
That's cool. Yeah, it's just life's short, life's weird,
is.
you just never know what's going to happen in your life, and doing that kind of thing is just rewarding, just giving back,
Right.
Keeping your focus in the right place, and it's not all about us, not all about me, where it's like how there's other people, no matter how hard we have it, there's always someone that has it harder.
So much harder.
Yeah.
And the one thing too is, like, obviously I'm from Afghanistan. I do so much here in America, and I'm so grateful, but also don't want to forget where I came from. So
Sure.
I do, and my family gives back to a lot of the needy people in Afghanistan and other parts of the country that just don't have the resources or the food or even water to live. So we give back there. And one of my goals in life is to be able to have a orphanage in Afghanistan, and to be able to have that where it's continued providing support for children that are really needy. And
That would be cool.
yeah, that's something I definitely is a lifetime goal.
We have no idea what it's like we know what we've been like, people have been to Mexico or whatever,
Right.
but a lot of people haven't been farther than that, and even seen the poverty of Mexico, right? So I mean, I've seen pictures and I've talked to people about things like Afghanistan, but I mean, we have no idea. I mean, we complain if our food order is being delivered a little late, or like our Uber driver's late, like we have no idea what it's like to just wake up and you haven't had a meal in 2 days, or
Exactly.
like really, like this is, or not having running water or hot water. Like this is stuff that's real in this world, and we just take it for granted.
Yeah. And that's why you have to just be thank God and put things in perspective, and understanding, hey, the worst day that you have, anybody would want to
trade you in a second. Yeah,
in
so
a
true.
third world country. So just, you got to put things in perspective and really be grateful.
That's right, man. Totally. Any shout outs to like someone who's helped you along the way get to where you are?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like my cousin AJ Akbar, he got me into the mortgage business and the especially the retail side of business. So really grateful for him to get me going on this side and pushing me to do it. That was huge respect and appreciation. And then just in the accredited home lenders was just all my managers at that time. They just taught me how to be a better leader and continue to be an effective manager, and they've taught me a lot. So there's so many in accredited, I couldn't name anybody.
Sure.
And just my peers, like all these different groups that were involved in, peers, entrepreneurs organization.
Yep.
Yourself, just being around good people and uplifting yourself, and just the 5 people you surround yourself with is just who you become.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
just being around good human beings is just continue to help me elevate myself.
Definitely, man. It's so amazing how a positive person versus a negative person can affect your whole day. Seriously. Or like your whole, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, definitely being around positive people is a huge asset.
It is.
What gets you like motivated? Are you reading stuff? Do you like wake up just naturally motivated? Or are you reading a book? Or you like listen to podcasts? Or like what keeps you motivated on a daily basis?
Well, it's my family, like my wife Angelica and my son Alexander and daughter Chloe. That's my why in life, and that gets me motivated to continue to become a better man, a better husband, a better father. So that in itself just drives me. That's cool. Because I'm a huge family man. That comes first in my book than anything else. But then just continue just this constant and never-ending improvement and just progress. Yep. I'm just so interested in progress and growth and just learning. I actually am going to Harvard in May.
Really?
Yeah, so I signed up for an executive business course that's just with business leaders and owners throughout the world. It's a 2.5-year program, and I'll be on campus for 3 weeks in May.
Wow.
And just learning and growing. So doing that and just doing things that just new and different and just kind of excites me to just continue to improve. So I listen to a lot of mastermind podcasts. And just reading books. I'm a big Tony Robbins guy, so I love what he does and his books.
Do you do the trampoline?
Not the trampoline.
Cold plunges?
I need to do the cold plunge. I haven't done that
I've done it. I just got one. It's crazy.
Did you get it?
It's so great. I love it.
You got to give me the one that if you like it.
It's hard for like 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it just like a peace comes over you. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
And then you get out and you're like, you feel like alive. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah. The ice baths are great, but it's like a lot of work. So then you're doing all the ice and all that. And then you make an excuse. Oh, I don't have ice or I don't have the time. Yeah. With the cold plunge, you just jump in it and out and then you're, 3-4 minutes and you're done. And Is that
better than just doing it in a pool? Because I thought I was just going to start using my pool to do it.
Yeah. Well, right now in San Diego, it's like 50 degrees.
Yeah.
So your pool's probably in the 50s, right? Like high 50s maybe. You can start that that for sure. Yeah.
The cold plunge is what? Is it less than 50?
Yeah. They could go down to 36
or
34, something like that. Like really, really cold.
Maybe I'll start my pool first.
So when I got my cold plunge, I started at 50, I think, 52, and then got down to like 46. And I think the lowest I've done is like 44.
Oh, nice.
And so anything below 50 is I mean, even 50 is freezing, dude. I mean, so cold. It's cold, right?
So you do that right when you wake up?
Yeah, I do it like, so I'll do the sauna and then I'll go in the cold plunge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I like it to be a little bit warm first and then get in there.
And then when do you put the senses around your face?
Only when I do a podcast.
When you do podcast, okay.
Yes, to awaken the mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm awake, bro.
It feels cool, right?
I feel like an awakened soul.
It's just a little peppermint, you just touch your ears with it. And you got
to give me that and then the cold plunge.
Yeah, so
start doing that.
It's just a little, that's like a essential oil, I think.
Yeah.
Peppermint,
I feel great.
That's cool, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. Any lasting thoughts that you want to, anything you want to say to the listeners?
Thanks again for having me. This is natural, just having a conversation with you. I don't
catching
even
up.
I don't even see any of this, so it was really cool. It was really comfortable. So anybody that hasn't done a podcast with you, I'd highly recommend it because it was just fun.
Thank you,
and just natural. To just say, you don't want to live life with regrets. You live once, and I think the most important thing in life is just quality time with the people you love. I just recently had my grandmother pass away last week, and she was so beloved to us. We called her BB John, and it's just difficult. You never know what tomorrow's never guaranteed. Even though she was elderly, we thought we always had time with her. And with anyone, you think you have time. It's just like, I think every day, you have to look at it as the time is now, because tomorrow's never guaranteed, and live your life. At least I try to do like it's my last day. Yeah,
that's good. I heard something recently that was like, if I gave you $1 million, would you be happy? And they're like, yeah, I'd be so happy right now, right? And then they're like, well, what about 10 million? They're like, oh my God, yeah. Like, what would you do with it? Oh, I'd do all these things, right? And then they said, well, then what would you take 10 million if then the next day you had to die? And they were like, no, hell no, I wouldn't do that. And so I guess the point is like your daily life is worth more than $10 million. So like if you were to wake up and be like, feel like that you just got $10 million, that if you had that same feeling, I mean, that's really what your day is. Your day is worth more than that. Yeah. It's like worth $1 billion, whatever. You would trade $1 billion for another day, in a heartbeat. So yeah, just having that mindset, waking up and being like, I'm so happy that I'm alive. I made it, and then starting your whole day out like that, I think is a huge way to just have a good day. Right?
It is. Yeah. Like if you wake up tomorrow, you're one of the lucky ones that you get to live and you get to make a change or impact. Yeah. Someone else didn't wake up.
Right. So true. Very true. Cool. Well, thank you for watching the podcast here with Masud, and please like, share, comment below, please. and subscribe. Tell your friends about this podcast. The only way we can be successful is if you guys share it. So thanks for forwarding our videos and our podcast, and we will see you on the next one.
All right. Thank you.
The $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast.